This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Baldur's Gate 3 is a story-rich, party-based RPG set in the universe of Dungeons & Dragons, where your choices shape a tale of fellowship, betrayal, survival, sacrifice, and the lure of absolute power. Pets are clearly an important part of BG3, and it made me want to try beating Baldur's Gate 3 only using them. Also, I just wanted to continue the trend of playing Baldur's Gate 3 like it's a different game. Please don't sue me, Nintendo. The easiest way to turn Baldur's Gate 3 into Pokémon is by using the Pokéflask mod, as many others have already done. But we won't be doing that. Yet. Instead, my best take at recreating Pokémon in vanilla BG3 is only dealing damage with anything that takes up a tiny box next to our portrait. So, pets, familiars, summons, etc. And as their trainer, we're just here to support them. On top of this, we'll be aiming to fill our Pokédex by collecting as many summons and friends as we can, typically by learning the skill or having an item or scroll to do it for us. I started this run back in December 2023, but then I got a little sidetracked. And since a pets only run is hardly revolutionary in Big 2026, we're starting over and upping the ante by doing this all on Honor Mode. Sort of. Using the custom difficulty options, we can basically turn the game into Honor Mode minus the one save, one life rule. I'm not interested in the single save restriction for this run, and I notoriously forget to record clips all the time, but I am interested in the other ways Honor Mode changes the game. For the unaware, Honor Mode turns the difficulty up to 11 by changing the rules and juicing up many bosses with new legendary actions. And in true Pokemon fashion, we're going to prove we're the very best like no one ever was, and beat them all. Starting out, we had to make our trainer, and who better to rise to the occasion of becoming Faerun's first Pokemon champion than a 10-year-old. In addition to being child-sized, forest gnomes already know how to speak with animals. There's a couple of classes that have pets, but choosing Ranger gave us 6 different starters to use until we hit level 3, and these guys sort of evolve, so thematically it makes the most sense. To increase our chances of not dying, we leveled Constitution and Dexterity, and put some points into Charisma so we'd have an easier time getting other creatures on our side. Our journey began aboard a Nautoloid ship that took a wrong turn into hell. Under attack from demons, we had to defend ourselves, but because of a botched spa treatment, we couldn't summon any of our familiars. So in the meantime, we ripped out this guy's brain and it turned into a dog. This is us, our adorable brain buddy that made short work of the imps while our mind adjusted to its new roommate.
Oh shit!
As we tried to escape the ship, we found Captain Calamari fighting off a devil. Sadly, there was no way we could take it down, but with the team of us, Julius Cheeser, and Lae'zel's magic hand, we took down all the imps and hellbores, earning enough XP to hit level 2 after crashing the ship.
Another happy landing.
Unfortunately, Us was nowhere to be found, but their other brain buddies survived. As fighting clearly wasn't an option, we resorted to breaking and entering.
Womp womp.
I mean, we did parkour and climbed up these ledges. Alright, we couldn't get up there, but we knew a little birdie that could. Maybe if we freed Lae'zel, we could get her to save Gale and unlock the fast travel point. Okay, no worries, the map is full of waypoints. By flying here, we avoided the goblins at the gate, and our raven was a free bird. We flew all the way to the Blighted Village and found out pets can't unlock waypoints. We couldn't talk with anyone, and we couldn't even doom the tieflings by moving on to the mountain pass. Is this the end already? Was all my research and prep for nothing? Was the run doomed just because we were vertically challenged? No, we just needed to grab some boxes from camp. From an on-the-box to an out-of-the-box solution, we dealt with the goblins at the gate by letting everyone die. Until level 3, our lineup was but we could still get XP from combat just by sitting back and watching as all our allies fell one by one. Thankfully, we could save one soul and revive Wyll, who we immediately sent to camp. We also encountered the best boy in all the realms, Scratch, inviting him to our camp once he realized his master wouldn't be waking up from his forever nap.
He needs rest.
Are you sure about that?
After beginning our tadpole collection, we made it to level 3 and could finally use a real summon.
Shit your trouser holes! Shovel is here!
In the totally not evil apothecary's cellar beneath the blighted village, we found the cheeky little Quasit's house, and inside were her belongings and summon scroll.
Oh, shit, piddling toe rag!
Normally scrolls are one-time use spells, but having at least one level in Spellshite let us keep Shovel permanently.
Let's kill everything.
With the abilities to turn invisible, frighten, and be an overall menace to society,
Sting time!
Shovel was a fantastic addition to the team. Our level in Wizard was now useless, but we couldn't dig up withers with just Shovel. So we ran to the Goblin camp, used Chart's artifact to cure our schizophrenia, and went to bed. In the morning, both Scratch and Withers found their way to camp, and we exchanged our level in Wizard for a third in Ranger, unlocking our Beastmaster companions. These guys could be used in addition to a familiar, hit way harder, and had unique abilities like goading enemies into attacking them. But unique doesn't mean useful. Our other companions' abilities were pretty good though, if they could land them. At least the big dog had advantage when attacking near allies, so we had one pet who could reliably land hits. But having two pets didn't mean we needed to or even could take fights head on. We still needed to use our brains and expert tactics. After all, our pets were only useful if they could stay alive. As their trainer, it was our job to keep them healthy by getting beat up for them and being a walking pharmacy. The world is full of various herbs and spices that we could mix to satiate our pet's potion addiction, and with the right gear, we could enhance them even further. Two of these pieces were at the Goblin camp, and gave anything we healed some peace of mind and encouragement. Overshields are always great, but blessing our pets meant our wolf wasn't the only one who could reliably land a hit, and we could actually use our other pets' more useful abilities. North of Goblin Town, we found a note about an amazing chest ahead. Unfortunately, it was in this cave. Heavily outnumbered and outleveled, we probably should have waited until later to do this fight, but I really wanted to grab that chest. We saw one of the gnolls finger painting, learned she also had a brainworm, convinced her we were friends, not food, and helped them eat the tasty treats inside the cave. Then convinced her that friends were food, killed the other gnolls, and when she still wasn't satisfied, told her to feast on herself.
Suicide is badass!
With the furries defeated, we opened the chest and found Faerun's first Pokeball. Clearly housing a powerful creature that I doubt wanted to be put back inside, we'd be saving this for an emergency. Down the road from the cave was an inn hosting the Fire Festival. We freed some politician who told us the president of Baldur's Gate was taken by cultists to Moonrise Towers. We were too young for politics, but I bet Wyll had some interesting thoughts about that. Wyll? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this sucks. Not because of our companion collection being incomplete, but because our Pokédex would be incomplete without Wyll's help. So we loaded the first long rest autosave after meeting Wyll, and he either got lost or fell down a well because he never actually made it to camp. The only way to soothe my rage was either to hug my child, pet my dog, or rely on explosion therapy. I think it's called exposure therapy. Incorrect! And it's easy to get your fix in War Thunder, the sponsor for today's video. The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made is available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. Step into over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from the 1920s onward without having to file for bankruptcy recreating the cockpit of a tank or buying a new graphics card. Immerse yourself with intense combat and detailed autopsies. Enjoy the realistic graphics and get an up-close view of your vehicles in the beauty parlor. Or reduce your stress with the calming, authentic sounds of the world's most powerful war machines. Personally, I really like that there's 3 different modes to choose from that ramp up the realism progressively. Depending on how locked in I am, it gives me the flexibility to choose what I'm in the mood for. There's a community of over 95 million players, meaning there's over 95 million targets, and I can help you get the upper hand. You can play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile, and players on PC or consoles that use my codes below will get multiple premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and the Eagle of Valor. This is available to all new and returning players who haven't played in 6 months, but act fast because this bonus is only here for a limited time. Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Now, back to our game of Goodwill hunting. Where there isn't a will, there's a way. To get our one-eyed companion back, we had to go all the way back to the fight at the Grove's Gate, and this time we had to ensure Wyll survived because that's the only thing I could think that broke him. Our familiars were incredibly weak. Really, they were useful just for applying status effects, and weren't even remotely threatening. The worst part is we could only summon one per short rest while outside of combat. So really our only option was to have Ash sit back, send in a pet to waste the archer's turns, take a short nap, and do it again until the battle was won. Or, in our case, we ran out of pets and threw Ash in. Thankfully, Zevlor understood the assignment and kept blowing the horn to give the ground troops THP, so we completed the battle with everyone alive and ensured Wyll found his way to camp. After a couple hours of deja vu, we were back to where we left off, and ready to grab our last piece of gear to juice up our healing potions. If we could stop Kaga from building a wall and kicking out the tieflings, their leader would give us gloves from his soldiering days. Challenging Kaga would lead to the druids committing tiefling genocide on the spot, so instead we dug up some dirt on her. Literally. Her diary took us to a swamp with flying mud monsters, whom we distracted with some to get blackmail. We confronted Kaga about the Shadow Druid money gang, and the 3 level 5 mice revealed themselves to be the Grove's new managers should their evil plan work. And they would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for some meddling kid, a cheeky demon, giant spider, room full of druids who had seen the error of their ways, and their dog too. With the Shadow Druids defeated, Kaga repented, the ritual was stopped, Shovel stole their idol and traded it for a ring of protection, and Zevlor rewarded us with the Hell Rider's Pride, meaning anytime we healed someone now, they also got 3 temporary HP and for 2 turns, better rolls and half damage from physical attacks. We also hit level 4 and unlocked our first feat, choosing Magic Initiate Sorcerer to get Mini Master Hand, a distraction that wouldn't take up a familiar slot, and better protection for one of our pets, usually Shovel. With these abilities, we were ready to take down Team Goblin so the tieflings could safely head to Baldur's Gate. But first, we needed to rescue Owlbert. The owlbear cub was hiding in a cave with his mother, and while we could play dumb, take a nap, and let the goblins get rid of her for us, we'd be losing out on XP. And Mother Owlbear was actually our first legendary boss that we had to take down.
Something weak.
What's worse than 1 pissed off owlbear parent? 2 pissed off owlbear parents. This didn't even the odds though, as we recruited the 2 absolute cultists outside to act as fodder. We just had to hope they wouldn't kill the owlbear cub in the process. After poking out Mother Owlbear's other eye, we gave our pets and Andric a shower to maximize their damage. Shovel threatened to eat Owlbert. She didn't actually mean it. And it wasn't long before we got Mama Owlbear below half health and really pissed her off. Meanwhile, Papa Owlbear had nearly taken out Brinna, so we tossed a healing potion at her, turning the cultists hostile.
Wait, what?
Believe it or not, it actually worked out for the best, since now we got the XP when the cultists died. With Mama Owlbear nearly down, we focused on Papa Owlbear to avoid pissing him off further. This of course did not stop Andric from landing the killing blow on his mate. At least he paid for it quickly. Blinded by grief, and that's so Raven, he relentlessly attacked Ash, meaning the only threat to our pets was the cub, and we could save our remaining speed potions for a rainy day. Several turns later, after Ash barely survived, Shovel cemented her MVP status and we beat our first legendary boss battle. The owlbear cub filled his belly with the meat of his dead mother. We took a well-earned rest and played fetch with Scratch. All in all, a successful day.
Yeah, baby!
Preparing to take on the goblins, we went shopping for new clothes and found this chest in the goblin camp. After opening it, we got a shield that gave Ash emergency THP once per short rest. But before we could make our move on the goblins, we had to rescue Owlbert. Again. The owlbear cub was taken by the goblins and, because he ate their chicken, was now the stand-in for their game of chicken chasing.
It's got feathers, don't it? A beak?
Fortunately for the goblins, we could talk with animals. So after maxing our wager, we convinced the owlbear cub to run through the posts and set the record for the fastest chicken chaser. Seeing right through our hustle, Crolla tried to cheat us out of our hard-earned winnings. So with a little help from our friend, we took all of her money. And Owlbert too. To thwart Team Goblin and help the tieflings, we needed to beat their 3 leaders. The first was Priestess Gut, who was giving a sermon in the middle of the temple. With several goblins here and more roaming the halls nearby, we were completely outnumbered, but not outgunned. On top of our juiced up healing potions, we also had various superpowered drinks that boosted or gave us unique abilities until a long rest, and our pets could drink them too. We also convinced the spiders that their goblin masters were delicious, called upon Mini Master Hand to release them, gather the goblins together, and dropped a statue on them. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize the statues here were made of styrofoam. Our pets had wasted their actions knocking down the statue, and our mage hand was a little slow. So to salvage this horrendous start, we relapsed once again, freed our new friends, and used the art of tag team wrestling to take down our first goblin. Truly a battle of the highest highs and the lowest lows. A bloodlusted Baconator fired up the pain train to avenge Shovel, and while we couldn't use Find Familiar to replace Shovel mid-combat, we could tag in Scratch to ensure we were never a man down. The larger spider gutted the priestess, and a mysterious voice told us about a... what? Because the smaller spider was, by all means, still a giant spider, the Zent traders acted as any normal person would and attacked our arachnid allies on sight. So we had to rush over and keep the smaller spider from getting itself killed.
12 seconds later.
Sin's dead, baby.
On the move again, we raced the spiders through the temple, closed the throne room door before they could aggro Ragslin's army, and cleaned up more of the goblins. The spiders claimed this room as their HQ, so we brought back Shovel and lured the remaining goblins who didn't seem to mind the mess to their webbed tombs, including our second target, Minthara. With 1 leader left, we let the goblins know the spiders escaped and our pets charged into the fight. Then I remembered Ragslin could just take control of our spider allies, but he opted not to. Big Red was good at making things big dead, encouraged his buddies to do the same, and had a legendary action that gave any enemy we attacked an extra action on their next turn. To make sure they never got that action, we gave our boar an extra action of his own, and thanks to the Bloodlust Elixir, he'd still get a third action if he managed to kill anyone. The smaller spider was camping up on this ledge, so we had to bring the fight to it. And after he one-shot Shovel, Ragslin began hunting down Ash. To help the spider help us and blind Ragslin so Ash didn't die, we tossed over some holy water. Well, no use crying over spilled potion. The spider just had to walk over it to drink it up. I promise, none of that was intentional. I really am just that bad. Despite this absolutely catastrophic turn of events, our pig had been going ham and finished off all the other goblins. As Ragslin was obsessed with murdering a small child, it was the best shot our boar would have at taking him down. Things were going well. Until they weren't. But I didn't hear no bell, so we thematically summoned a spider companion which Ash would buff once he got out of the...
I gotta get out of here!
After a much needed catnap, we regrouped and brought back our boar and Shovel for redemption. Ragslin had returned to the throne room, still damaged. We could test our luck and try again, but there was another pet out there we could still recruit. Down in the warg pens, we found a talking bear being held captive and assaulted by children. The only answer to these crimes was, of course, murder. So we slaughtered not only the goblin men, but the women and children too. After the fight, the bear revealed himself to be the Grove's Druid Halsin. Oh wow, I had no idea. Still craving a fight, he offered to help us finish off the goblins, automatically took his bear form, was labeled as Cave Bear, followed us around like a summon, and we could dismiss him at will, so I'm considering him a pet. The plan was simple, and made even simpler since he didn't recover any HP. Take Ragzlin by surprise by marking him for death, poke one of his eyes out, then beat the shit out of him before he could do anything about it. But just to get ahead of the comments, we did the exact same thing without the bear. We just had everyone shoot some skooma with a holy water chaser, then beat the shit out of Ragzlin. With the evil defeated, Halsin returned to the grove, we partied with the tieflings, and most importantly, Owlbert found his way to camp. Oh, we also hit level 5, giving our Beastmaster companions a new look, bigger numbers, and new abilities. Our boar even evolved into a Boarbarian. Ash also got an extra attack per turn, which is way better than it sounds for this run because throwing is also considered an attack. Before moving on, we grabbed one more companion. The overly attached Flaming Fist recruit wouldn't leave her boyfriend's side, even if he was in our pockets, and would follow wherever he went. Sadly, she wouldn't join us in combat, so we packed up his corpse and let her grieve at our camp. The morning after the party, Halsin had let us know there was a hidden entrance to the Underdark somewhere in the Goblin camp, and after a bit of exploring, we found a puzzle. I'm sure there's a way to solve this, but we'll never know because we just picked the lock. Playing Snake Eater in reverse, we entered the Underdark. In the land down underground, we found a fast travel point, took down a Minotaur, and pulled out the singing sword in the stone. Hold on. The sword encouraged any pet or ally that could hear its song, and this effect stacked with our blessed healing potions. We were welcomed into the Mushroom Kingdom and found an apothecary with a useful amulet and some maybe useful gloves, her missing deadbeat husband, and some new buddies. Blurg was a surprisingly friendly hobgoblin hanging out with the fun guys. And even more surprising was his lab partner, a friendly mind flayer. Omelum took a look at our parasite and revealed the tadpole was
blessed with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical,
but offered to help us if we gathered some ingredients for him. The special shrooms were at the Arcane Tower, which was also home to a special staff we could use to buff our party when the singing sword needed a break. This staff was in the basement, which you can access by befriending the Iron Man at the top of the tower. Unfortunately, that wasn't an option for us, because he's a legendary boss and thus needed to perish. Bernard and his 6 armored allies would prove to be a challenge, if we weren't 6 steps ahead. In the Underdark are 6 anti-magical flowers. Susur blooms could be found here at the Arcane Tower and over at a tree guarded by a lunatic and his pet hookers. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't dodge a boulet. That joke works so much better in writing because once again, yes, that is how you pronounce it. This big bad behemoth was yet another legendary boss in the Underdark, and sadly wasn't the last. In honor mode, he's found some diamond armor which is tough to crack, and as long as he's got it, lets him pull out an Uno reverse card on nearby attackers once per turn. We tried using Filro and the Hook Horrors to crack his armor, but they didn't help. So after killing them and grabbing the sussy flowers, we tried asking the Minotaurs for help, but they also tried their hardest to be useless. So for now, the boulet was a problem for another day. With the sussy flowers secured, we dropped them off by Bernard's buddies and turned a 7-on-3 into a 3-on-1. But Bernard still had a shocking trick up his sleeve, and once per turn answered our attacks with leaping static, aka chain lightning. Unfortunately for him, a bunch of nearby broken machinery could be turned into an elixir of lightning resistance, which we fed to our Boarbarian. A long, drawn-out, and resource-draining fight, Bernard focused on Ash. Until he didn't. In very anticlimactic fashion, we brought back our wolf to finish off Bernard and his armored allies who still were in the fight but couldn't fight back. Our prize was a ring that revealed the hidden button to the basement and the staff of Arcane Blessing. On our way back to Blurg and Omelum, we found what would have ended a legit one-save honor mode run. We found a way to go down even deeper and stumbled on a bunch of fish people worshipping the false idol. After revealing to them their god was nothing more than a short, angry man, we usurped the pretender and became their new god.
We will spread word of Maglumpa. Your glory will sing from 10,000 throats.
With these side quests finished, we brought back the ingredients to Omelum so he could make us a mushroom smoothie to calm our parasite. It actually had the opposite effect, and our calamari comrade unlocked a new power we could use to protect our pets with. As an unexpected bonus, Blurg also sold us a scroll that summoned minor elementals to fight alongside our pets. We could choose between a flaming dwarf and 2 chill or 2 dirty mephits. We chose the ice mephits, and with this extra bit of muscle, we were ready for the Boulet. We knew where the Boulet would show up next, and we gave our small army every advantage we could. We learned from Anakin's mistakes, used great hygiene, sent the Boulet to the back of the line, gave our mephits extra ammunition, blasted some tunes, and sealed the Boulet's fate. Our mage hand started the fight by hydrating the Boulet, followed by a cursed feather from That's So Raven. Our ice artillery pummeled the Boulet, which safely removed the diamond scales and brought it down to just under 3/4 health. To add insult to injury, Little Shovel frightened the giant land shark in his tracks. Unable to move, it unfortunately didn't stop him from retaliating with a snot rocket. We lost our mage hand, but not the fight, as our pets once again laid into the brute with feathers, icicles, and claws. Still standing, but still frightened, he took a swing at Shovel, and missed.
Well, that's unfortunate.
With that, Shovel earned her spot on the thumbnail for the video, and one of the hardest Act 1 fights was beaten in barely 3 turns. Further up from where we faced the Boulet was a stone garden of petrified drow. Luckily, in our travels, we found some vials of basilisk oil, which our mage hand used to unpetrify 3 of the drow, before Ash was ambushed by the Cacodemon's ugly cousin. The Spectator started blasting its arsenal of random bullshit, thankfully at the drow who didn't enjoy getting stoned. That's So Raven and our mephits flew in to land some helpful sneak attacks, and because of the number of meat shields, this was a pretty straightforward and simple fight. After nuking almost the entire field, only Ash and a paralyzed drow remained standing, so we called on our barbarian to finish the fight.
Shit, that was close.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
With the Spectator slain, we took a well-earned break from the Underdark to go beat up an old lady. Auntie Ethel wasn't just an old hag, she was an actual hag. Not only was she another legendary boss, but she was also keeping our last Act 1 summon hostage, so she had to die. Taking her down would be tricky because she had a habit of going invisible. So we asked Volo to pick our brain, literally, and he gave us a new eye that had a chance of spotting invisible foes. We also wanted to beat her before she could crawl back to her basement, because I've got PTSD from dealing with clones. So we needed a bit more punch and brought in CeeLo Green's hot cousin. But that wasn't enough, after stacking a comical amount of buffs. We marked Ethel for death, and she revealed the swamps and her true form. That's So Raven cursed her, fittingly managed to pluck her eye out, and our Azer gave Ethel a concussion before knocking the hag on her ass, setting Shovel up for the slam dunk with a whopping 36% chance to scare Ethel shitless. And no pressure, but our whole strategy relied on Shovel successfully landing this. Frightening the hag prevented her from using any movement, meaning she couldn't get up. Meaning she couldn't teleport to the basement on her next turn, meaning we got one more turn to try and beat her senseless. Shovel got some decent shots in, and even though the red caps rushed to Ethel's aid and temporarily broke our hunter's mark,
Nice try.
it didn't stop That's So Raven and Bronzefire from beating the hag. Within an inch of her life.
You're fucking kidding me. Oh my god.
Left on only 3 HP, our only hope was that the Azer's Searing Smite would do enough fire damage to finish Ethel off on her next turn. Or he could just overheat and cook her now.
Oh.
The entire fight hinged on RNGesus' favor. Either our planning and luck would pan out, or we'd have to somehow do this all over again down in the basement.
Holy shit.
The literal perfect chain of events. This fight could have gone so wrong at literally any time. But we managed to beat Auntie Ethel without setting foot in her lair, and we were now over halfway through Act 1's legendary bosses. But not everyone was happy about this. Ethel had made a bargain with Mayrina to bring her husband back from the dead in exchange for their unborn child. And true to her word, she would have brought him back. Just not in the way that she expected.
Why is he still dead?
Sorry, Mayrina, I guess you just can't catch a break in any of our playthroughs. It may not look like it, but Connor is actually one of the best summons in the game. Sure, he only lasts 10 turns and hits like a wet noodle, but he's a great meat shield, and summoning him only costs 1 green circle, with no cooldowns at all. Really, the only problem with Connor is that he smells. Before going back underground, we took a rest and sadly lost our flaming friend. But in the Blighted Village, we made new friends when Scratch struck a bargain with some ogres to call on them for help. Thankfully, we knew just where to send them. Down the well, we found a bunch of creepy crawlies, but these guys weren't as frightening as they looked though. Connor proved to be an excellent tank. Scratch went on a secret mission to ensure no Eder caps would threaten TSR by burning the bridge. Okay, he worked with Mini Master Hand to torch the bridge, and it let our bird focus on the elusive phase spiders. The real challenge lied ahead. Mommy Spider could teleport like her children and was extremely protective of them, trapping any assailants in what would likely be their tomb. 8 to 80 damage was a lot, especially for our pets, so we needed creatures that could deal with that for us. Enter the ogres. I said enter the ogres. Thank you. The matriarch released the horde of babies and we summoned Connor to help tank, while That's So Raven began hunting one of the full-grown spiders. This triggered the matriarch's Gossamer Tomb, but with no clear line of sight, we successfully wasted her legendary action for this turn. During all of this, we could have had Scratch scramble some eggs, but then we wouldn't get the XP for the kills, so instead he joined That's So Raven in dealing with the phase spider. Sadly, even though we gave him an elixir of bark skin, it did nothing to help save him from poison. But the spider retreating onto a web bridge with its mom gave us the perfect opportunity to finally summon a giant fireball. Seriously, we've picked up like 4 of these scrolls in our travels, literally just for this moment. Lump stole one of our kills, and our fireball dropped the matriarch, dealing some decent damage and really pissing her off. Good news though, she focused her rage at the ogres, nearly killing Fank and entombing Chalk after he killed one of her babies. We managed to heal Fank and cure his poison thanks to those gloves from the apothecary lady in the Underdark. Lump had the intelligence to free his brother, and our mage hand fulfilled its purpose. Once again, the matriarch fled to awaken more babies, but our fireball was in hot pursuit. The matriarch took the fight to the ogres, nearly killing Fank again, but luckily we found a spot where our healing potions could reach him. Our fireball cooked the new spiderlings, TSR finished off the other phase spider, and the matriarch seemed to forget she had one last group of eggs and kept fighting the ogres. This, and breaking the web bridge, would prove to be her downfall.
That's that then. Let's see the gold. Why, you succulent schemer.
With Chalk and Fank still heavily damaged from the fight, the trio of ogres didn't put up much of a fight, and, actually disappeared. I don't know why or how. I don't know if we'll ever see them again. In any case, yet another legendary boss was down, and 3 legendary bosses remained, with 2 being in Grimforge. So we took a shortcut back to the Underdark and popped by the Mushroom Kingdom. The Myconid colony was at war with a group of Dwergar and asked for our help. While the others were content to sit around and pick flowers, one mushroom man was willing to take them on with us. He too was a Pokemon trainer that had unique methods of getting his pets. Could we have been using Glut this entire time in the Underdark? I mean, yeah, probably, but clearly we didn't need to, and we weren't gonna start now. So instead, enjoy this not-so-short presentation on all the various pets Glut can get for you in Acts 1 to 1.5. Before I blast you with useless knowledge, let's go over a few things. Every creature should have access to the same moves and abilities that they can use normally. I'd go over all of them, but that's gonna take too long and I don't wanna. To revive creatures, you either need to get them to Glut or get Glut to them. So in many cases, mods or exploits are required. Finally, animating spores doesn't work on constructs, plants, or aberrations. So no medieval Iron Men, no tree people, and no way for me to bring back us. RIP on this character, buddy. Starting with creatures found in the Underdark, while his fellow fungi are off limits, Glut can raise any humanoids. This includes the fish people, but not their false idol. You can take Dareth and Balin's Deep Rothe into battle, but much more useful are the hookers. Even more useful are the Minotaurs. Infinitely more useful is the Boule. Yeah, you can have your very own pet land shark. But that's not the only legendary monstrosity you can tame. Bringing the Matriarch Spider to the Underdark allows Glut to work his mushroom magic and recruit one of Act 1's most powerful creatures. Now I think that's what most players assume Glut can reanimate, but the Matriarch isn't even the only pet spider you can get from him, as her children, the Ettercaps, group of spiders arguing in Grimforge, and even the giant spiders being held captive by the goblins can all battle for you. Speaking of goblins, they, their children, and even 2 of their bosses can be placed under your command. So if you hated the priestess's guts and want to kill her again, now you can. The character I'm playing as to grab all the corpses isn't on honor mode, but if you're playing on honor mode and bring Ragzlin's corpse down, he should retain his legendary abilities if you res him. Minthara is a potential companion, so she can't be resurrected by Glut. At least, I assume that's why, because the same goes for any other companion. If you let your urge get the best of you and want to bring back the wife, those are Shard's words, not mine. You can, well, you can't just carry her corpse into the Underdark, I guess. She needs to find your camp while you're in the Underdark and after Glut has agreed to join you. Sadly though, this makes no difference as she can't be resurrected anyways. You can tame baddies like the bugbears, wargs, hyenas, gnolls, and even the flint. But unfortunately, not the ogres. There's no point in carting down any devils from the Nautoloid, but the guy you performed brain surgery on looks funny since he's still missing half his skull. If you go ahead to Grimforge, you'll be left with disappointment as nothing new or exciting can be added to the Pokédex, aside from our new friend Chester. Skeletons can't be undeaded again, and neither can the group led by the Death Shepherds in the Mountain Pass, but they aren't the only ones in that area. The ugly cats can be brought back, cured of their magic allergy. The kobolds have their alcoholism under control, and the giant eagles are still pricks. The harpies behind the grove can be recruited if you want a different flying type, and if like me you fail to protect any of the tiefling children, just undo your mistake. If you fail to protect Arabella, just undo your mistake. If instead you want to save her, you can snipe Kaga's pet snake and take Tila's corpse to Glut for a pet snake of your own. It'll only cost you the lives of everyone in the grove, but hey, pet snake. One of those lives happened to be Wrath's pet wolf. Oh no! Anyways. The grove is home to many other creatures like bears, boars, ox, rats, and squirrels, but those aren't the only animals that you can find. For example, there's the addled frog in the swamp. The sheep there aren't actually sheep, but the mauled sheep in the blighted village can maul your enemies. The various blue jays can continue being assholes. The chicken chasing chicken at the goblin camp can be given a new purpose. And believe it or not, you can recruit the most foul, cruel, and bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes on. I'm actually not joking. Alongside a child soldier and Tila, these deceivingly fragile pets are among the strongest pets Glut can give you, because none of these creatures were intended to be used in combat, and as long as you aren't in combat nearby, they never enter combat, so they can safely and slowly kill anything without being hit back. And that's every creature from Act 1 to Act 1.5. Okay, actually it's not. Please, just when watching the next part, remember, I'm a scientist, not a monster. And I deleted the playthrough immediately after, so it's like none of this even happened. The Owlbear mother and presumably the father can both wreak havoc in the Underdark for you if you manage to get them down there. And while not permanent, both the Owlbear cub and Scratch can be at your side once more. When I said we were gonna try to catch them all and fill our Pokedex, I meant it. If there's any other creatures Glut can reanimate in Act 1 that I missed, please let me know below. We made our way to the docks where we spotted the Dwergar and ambushed the ambushers, bringing down one of the guards to 1 HP, and he retaliated with the ancient wartime tactic, Divine Wind. On top of losing Shovel, their own Pokemon trainer summoned a small army. Things weren't going great, but at least we could keep the walking corpses busy with...
You dick.
The next turn, we wasted his counterspell by using Hunter's Mark on a corpse. Since it was a bonus action, we could still use a regular action to summon our Fireball without getting shut down. Meanwhile, Glut was a good distraction, and TSR slowly whittled down the Ranger. But we needed someone who could play crowd control, so once that So Raven's hunt was complete, we'd use Hunter's Mark to waste a counterspell and bring back Jason Bourne.
Shit, I forgot that Flaming Sphere is a concentration spell. And yeah, I wasted his counterspell with Hunter's Mark, but Hunter's Mark also is a concentration spell. Alright, come on Jason Bourne, don't let us down.
Living up to the nickname, he single-handedly dealt with everyone save for one corpse. Unfortunately, Glut wasn't satisfied with just dead Dwergar, and wanted us to kill Sovereign Spa so he could rule the Mushroom Kingdom instead. But this wasn't our first rodeo, and we saw this coming, so we broke his ankles and ensured the Age of Glut came to an abrupt end. Back at the Mushroom Kingdom, Spa let us know our work wasn't done, and there was a true soul across the lake whose head he wanted as a trophy. We agreed to retrieve it, but only because it was attached to our next legendary boss. We returned to the docks, boarded the boat to Grimforge, and were pulled over by the Coast Guard. We failed to shove their captain in the water, and understandably, they were pretty pissed off. We decided to divide and conquer. As Ash was almost always the target, we kept him away and on the move. Connor and Shovel landed free hits as the Dwergar repositioned, and our Borbarian charged through their back line. Things were going so well that one turn, instead of healing and buffing our pets, we gave them a hand. The risk I took was calculated, but man am I bad at math. We tried again, and again, and again, and again, and again, always ending up with the same result. So how could we avoid an instant game over?
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
With their frontline gone, the rest of the crew perished, and I wish I had just tried this plan sooner. Finally making it to Grimforge, we were informed the twat soul we were hunting was behind this pile of rocks, and on payments to the Dwergar workers. Because we struggled with 6 dwarfs on a boat and didn't feel like taking on a whole stronghold of them, we helped organize a coup by blinding the Absolute surveillance camera. If you're upset that we used the exact same method as in the Hitman video, then here's what we should have done with 47 instead. With half of the Greys now on our side, we had backup in the fight against Nier. So we grabbed some explosives, grabbed even more explosives, maybe in case for later, set them up, and blew the wall open.
Finally,
With over 100 HP and a legendary action letting him conjure body doubles that acted as suicide bombers, taking down Nier, let alone damaging him without getting our pets killed, would be a difficult task. So we got the drop on him.
Damn.
Turns out jumping on someone with a Gigantamaxed bear from the top rope can deal a lot of damage.
Get fucked, Nier.
The morale of the cultists was shattered, as was every bone in their bodies, and we picked up an easy win, saved the gnomes, and hit level 6.
Wait, what?
After talking with Bone Daddy, he let us wear heavy armor and adjust our constitution to 17. As we leveled up again, most of our existing choices were the same until we got to our feet at level 4, bumping up our constitution to 18 and fortifying our mind. We didn't lose our mage armor or hand since at level 6 we once again multi-classed into wizard, and also gained some other spells that would help our pets. More importantly, this dip gave us a photographic memory, and for a price, we could memorize level 1 and 2 spells from scrolls. We collected Nier's head for our fungus friends, sent Connor to the mines, played catch with our mage hand, and faced our biggest challenge yet. Literally, not actually. Our drop bear struck again, cementing that the land down underground really is just Fantasy Australia. After getting Grim's skull to protect our own and making it even harder to kill Ash, we made our way to the local monastery to acquire more pets, but were stopped by the Gith border patrol seeking our contraband. We could talk our way out of a fight, but to be honest, fuck them Giths. We called in reinforcements, and an invisible shovel surprised the Gith, letting Berry Poppins hit a Goliath frog splash to flatten one of them. Their leader hit the hardest and was the hardest to hit, but only because she held a weapon.
Oh, I don't think so.
BP tossed her sword to our mage hand, who passed it up to Ash, while Connor moved in to join the fight. And even without her longsword, Albino Githyanki got hands. But so did we. With their bare hands, our team of Pokemon defeated the Githyanki patrol, and we moved on to the mountain pass to take on their creche. On the other side of the mountain, we met one of Blurg and Omelum's co-workers who wanted a Githyanki egg. Thematically, I felt it made more sense to give her an Owlbear egg, but because I'm pretty sure we already ate it, and because of how it actually affects the game later, we would abduct the unborn child for her. On the way to the creche, we encountered a sad blue jay who was being bullied by eagles.
Eagles are pricks!
And agreed to put them down. Literally. We found them atop the monastery, dismissed Shovel and used our cat vermilion to lure them to the edge before shoving them with our mage hand and immediately dismissing it. Might seem weird, but we had to dismiss it because otherwise it would enter combat with the eagles, and we didn't want to. Yet. If you've seen part 2 of my Baldur's Gate 3 like it's Hitman series, you know where I'm going with this. And yes, I will be finishing that series, don't worry. Our irresistible feline got the attention of the Grimishka army and brought them down to fight the eagles. But we also invited the drunken kobolds to the brawl. Severely outnumbered, the eagles called for reinforcements and the turf war had officially begun. It was an absolute bloodbath with fights breaking out all over across the monastery. And the best part is, we didn't have to lift a finger to get any of the XP from the fight, because once we put Ash into combat, the eagles suddenly turned hostile, probably remembering this whole fight is happening because of the mage hand. The drunken kobolds were the first to fall, but things weren't looking good for the eagles as they only had one bird remaining. But she wasn't going down without a fight, and made the comeback of the century, finishing off the remaining Grimishkas. Unfortunately, her celebration and the rest of her life were short-lived. With only one kill, we successfully cleared out the monastery, the Blue Jay moved back into his mansion, we brought back Shovel, and we...
Shovel is bored! Shovel wants to murder eyes!
Don't worry, Shovel. There'll be plenty of killing soon. The Gith at the front door weren't happy to see us, and were less happy after we threatened them.
That is insultingly low.
So it's a good thing we planned ahead and ambushed them. This fight had nearly leveled us up, so we found 2 Gith off on their own, But then the fight spilled into a new area, so we added a couple more bodies to the count. We hit level 7 and put a 6th level into Ranger, regaining the ability to cast protection against good and evil, and gaining poison resistance since Grim's Skull already protected us from fire. One of our victims from this mini murder spree was the traitor who was wearing the Amulet of Branding. Just like Hunter's Mark, since this didn't deal any direct damage to an enemy or apply any status effects that hindered their damage output, movement, turns, etc., I'm considering this fair game as a way to boost the damage our pets can do. So hey, our happy little accident wasn't for nothing. We found the Kresh hatchery and only one lone egg remained. Under heavy surveillance, we couldn't get close, but our pets could. Connor could survive the acid waters and drag the egg throughout the hatchery. The Gith weren't happy about it, but they also didn't do anything to stop us, and Connor simply walked out the door with it.
Bye-bye!
Down the hall the other way were two aspiring young Pokemon trainers playing catch with a chest using their mage hands. So we asked if we could play.
You lose, Kachucky! Go play by yourself.
Jason, kill that kid. In the next room, we told the mad doctor we had magical shrimp for brains, and she strapped us in the electric chair. Using up most of our inspiration, we helped the machine search for the Wriggler, which, much like the mushroom smoothie we drank earlier, just made it stronger, and made us woke. Up to this point, we hadn't done anything with our parasite collection, so we indulged in a tadpole buffet and unlocked some new powers to protect our Pokemon with. We may have been a bit overzealous since we could only use like 3 powers, but especially seeing as they'd now be taken as bonus actions, we could hopefully make good use of them. The whole reason the Gith were here was to recover the magical Icicahedron that had been protecting us. As much as I wanted to take the artifact and run to the Shadow Cursed lands, the Inquisitor was Act 1's final legendary boss, and we had been called Istic one too many times. After having our lives and our realm threatened, we took everyone in the infirmary and put them in the grave, cleared out the hallways, smashed up the classroom, and went to the principal's office. There was one other staff member present, and the Kithrak's pets couldn't be sent away or convinced to join us. If we couldn't get the wolves to leave, then we got the Kithrak to leave, luring her all the way to the other end of the creche. She would still pull her entire office into combat, but at least we'd have a few turns to deal with her before they could get to us. Githyanki can't parry if there's no weapon to parry with, which she got all dramatic about, and after one round of attacks, our army of pets nearly brought her down. Thankfully, it took just as long for everyone to regain their composure as it took for her assistant to get to us, and her wolves didn't understand how doors worked, so they couldn't bother us at all. Our Mephits iced the Kithrak and her assistant before tossing icicles at their helpless pups. We went through the Kithrak's pockets and used her gem to unlock the door. The final boss of Act 1, Chirai Wawargaz? Fucking, why can't they spell their names normally? Chirai Wawargaz, like, seriously. Chirai Wawargaz fittingly summoned his own Pokemon on top of anyone who attacked him or his allies twice per turn. And after his Pokemon swords attacked anyone, he could attempt to drain an enemy, making him hit harder and harder to hit the more targets he's connected to. We needed to hit him hard and hit him fast. We could build a ladder and have Barry Poppins hit an elbow drop, but I think it's only fair if we use that strat when the environment naturally lets us, as it did in Grimforge. We weren't taking any chances and were prepared to throw everything we had at him, including the reanimated skeletal remains of the Kresh's Kithrak. After shoving potions and elixirs down everyone's throats, we entered his chambers, redecorated, got into position, and had Shovel surprise the Inquisitor's bodyguards so our bone buddy could shoot down the brazier. But Marco, we can't resort to barrelmancy. Well, we're not. The extra bodies proc the Inquisitor summons for us, so our party could safely attack without rival Pokemon getting in their faces. Barry Poppins managed to disarm and knock down the Inquisitor, setting up one of our ice methods for some easy damage. And after getting up and retreating, He slipped on some ice. Our skeletal sharpshooter took down one of the Ardents, and we didn't have to worry about any surprise guests since, you know.
You okay? I'm good, man.
Shovel failed to scare Wawargaz, and we lost 3 of our kobold comrades. But after getting ragdolled, the Inquisitor was already 1 foot in the grave. Literally and figuratively. Unfortunately, we should have put both feet in the grave because when he got up, he linked with everyone in the room except Shovel, bringing his AC up to 26. Thankfully, there was a way to guarantee we'd damage him. The Ice Method's Death Burst dealt a good amount of damage, and even on a successful save, which he was likely to get, Wawargaz would still take half damage. And using the power we got from Omelum's Mushroom Smoothie, we could double the damage. Well, that timing couldn't have been worse. But it's a good thing we thought ahead to summon Connor and use Shovel to heroically tank an opportunity attack from one of the flying swords. Okay, I'm gonna die on the hill that technically that should have worked. The Ice Method should have came back. At least we wasted one of the sword summons, and we still had a trick or two up our sleeves. After trying to goad the Gith, our bear and Shovel were taken out. But at least Wawargaz slipped again, and being linked to less mines, it lowered his armor class. Just enough for our Marrow Marksman to nearly kill him. Hopefully, our wildcard could finish the job. No, not Scratch. Remember those 2 asshole kids? Well, the chest they were playing catch with held a Grimishka. It just took casting a spell to break it free. Grimishkas are allergic to magic, and when magic is used on or near them, random bullshit ensues. In this case, Gigantamaxing and turning into a panther. Scratch got sent back to camp, and our panther took out one of the Gith before disappearing. So we brought back our favorite distraction and did the same. Our feline friend had taken out the Inquisitor and outlived its usefulness, so we brought in Cat's arch-nemesis, Dog. They slowly but surely worked together to eliminate our common enemy before Bark Wahlberg proved that dogs are superior to cats. With Barky Bark and our fallen Funky Bunch's help, we had beaten Act 1's final legendary boss and were ready to move on to Act 2 and the Shadow-Cursed Land. Thank you guys for watching, and again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Play for free now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile, and make sure to use my links in the description or pinned comment to get a huge bonus. Those of you on PC and consoles that are new or haven't played for 6 months will get premium vehicles, in-game currency, and more to help you gain the upper hand. I had an absolute blast making this video, and I hope it was worth the wait. What do you guys think of the run so far, and do you have any other nicknames that we should be using for our other pets? Let me know down in the comments below. We'll be continuing this and the Hitman BG3 playthrough real soon. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Wow, that was over 2 hours of talking. My voice hurts.